Then again, sorry. Again, thank you everybody for joining. We are extremely grateful to have Fabien here with us today to talk about something that we haven't mentioned in a while, which is basically marketplaces. So as you know, this month we are focusing on marketplaces. So we have a webinar today and another webinar this week also with Amazon. Because this is one of the most easy and interesting platforms to approach in terms of increasing your e-commerce sales without really having to build a full-fledged e-commerce website. So Fabien has done a couple of webinars before with Ecom Connect. So you might have seen him before, but he has been working with eBay for quite some time before deciding to do his own company that also is called eTrade, that focuses on helping businesses like yours, small and medium-sized businesses, leverage all the potential of e-commerce. So Fabien, thank you for joining us. We are again we've spoken before. I love the energy that you have on every single call. So I'm sure everyone will appreciate the same energy on this call today. And yeah, the floor is yours.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Jennifer, I just want to confirm that you can still hear and see me okay. Fantastic.
Yes, we can.
Okay, great. So then, yeah, thank you so much for having me. I'm really pleased to spend the next hour or so with you guys and also the people who joined. I want to thank obviously ITC. James is on the call, so thank you, James, and the whole Ecom Connect team for making this happen. Perhaps before we start, well, I want to acknowledge a couple of people I saw on the chat. Like most of the people I don't recognize, so I think that's a good thing. But some I do. I see Abduvali is here. I see Farouk is here. I see a couple of familiar faces. So nice to see you guys. And for all those who I don't know yet, it's great to meet you. And I hope this will be useful to you. I want to start with a few points for introduction. So as a reminder, the session today, so it's called Going Global with eBay, Understanding Market Potential and Boost Your Product Visibility. So it's going to be all about how to get you onto eBay to increase your sales. Few points. If you haven't noticed yet, the session is being recorded and perhaps the team could confirm we will be able to share this video afterwards, right, Jennifer?
Yes, yes.
Fantastic. So if you don't catch, if there's some subtleties that you don't catch or anything that you want to review, you will be able to do that later. I will also be sharing the slides with you, so you have all the materials, and we will have an opportunity for Q&A at the end. So I really want to make sure that we do have at least 10 to 15 minutes at the end so you can get your questions answered. Yes, very briefly, perhaps about myself. Jennifer, you already mentioned that I have my own company. So in 1 minute, my background is I studied international relations in Geneva. I then went to work for eBay, the e-commerce pioneer, and I worked for eBay about 8 years, after which I created my own company in order to help companies like yourselves connect to global buyers. So that's kind of been my journey for the past, I would say, 15 years at this point that I've really just been there to help small and medium businesses in emerging countries connect to international customers. That's what I do. I've trained more than 800 merchants across 15 markets on 3 continents, and I'd love to share the experience that I've gained with you guys. I also want to take the opportunity, and let me start sharing my presentation here. I want to take the opportunity to also introduce someone else on the call because we have a great guest speaker on the call with us. Her name is Vashu Kihara, and she's a fashion designer based in Naivasha, Kenya, with a successful track record on eBay. And I will do a short interview a little bit later in the session. Vashu, are you here with us? Can you hear us?
Good evening, everybody. Yes, I can hear you, Fabian. Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks, Vashu. And we will hope when we get to the interview that the connection will be strong enough so we can do that. And Vashu, I will ask you to speak up as much as possible. And in case, guys, it's not loud enough, I will ask you to turn your volume up to the maximum so you can hear what Vashu has to say. But that's for a little bit later on in our session. So let's get started. So what are we going to discuss today? I think I just have 4 points that I want to cover before we get into the question and answer section. The first one is just a brief why eBay. The second one is basics of setting up your store on eBay, finding the right product to export, and then we'll dive into like really sharing our experience about what should you do and what should you not do when you want to sell to global customers on eBay and do that in a successful way. So I'd love to get to know my audience a little bit before we dive in, and that's why I've created this Slido presentation. So Slido allows us to sort of talk to each other over this app. What I would like to do is if you have a mobile phone at hand and if you have a camera functionality, I'd like to ask you to scan the QR code that you can see on the top left side. And I want to just start by asking you, what type of products do you sell? And hopefully once we get the first questions, we will get some answers right here live on the screen. So the question is, what type of products do you sell or do you plan on selling if you start your journey on eBay? Okay, fantastic. We have 3 participants typing. As a reminder, in order to participate here, just pull out your mobile phone, scan the QR code that you see on the top left side, and then you can type your answer on the window that's opening on your mobile phone. Cool. So we have a couple of answers coming through. So what do we have? We have home decoration. We have vegetables. Interesting. We have bath towels, bath sheets. We have powders, fruit, bags, superfoods. That's very interesting. Specialty foods, jewelry, roasted coffee beans, beaded leather sandals and accessories, and furniture. Okay. And then we have skills. Okay, so we have someone selling services, which is very interesting. Grains, coconut oil, dehydrated fruits from Sri Lanka. So hello there in Sri Lanka. Very nice. So that's a huge selection. I would say, apart from any fresh produce, right? Any fresh fruits, that would be an issue with the eBay platform. All the other products that I see here are feasible. So thank you for sharing that. I'm gonna move to the next questions, and apologies for those who are still typing, but we'll move to the next question, and I want to do this one first. I'm very curious to know where you guys are joining us from. So please, if you can again go back to your Slido and answer the questions here. All right, so people are starting to answer. Thank you very much. 9 answers so far. So most people so far are joining us from Africa, Asia Pacific, Middle East, Europe. And we have, oh, 1 person from Latin America. Okay. Nobody from North America so far. Nice. Okay. 14 answers so far. 15. Okay, I think we'll leave it at that. So Africa is very well represented today, followed by Asia Pacific and Middle East. Again, welcome. It's a pleasure having you on, and it's great to have 4 continents on the session all together. The good news for all of you is all of these regions, all of these world regions are eligible. There's practically no country that is not eligible to sell on eBay. The only countries that would not be eligible are countries experiencing conflicts, and there's very few, you know, countries that are generally in a difficult international situation. I would say, such as North Korea, um, and perhaps Yemen, but the rest of the countries are will be welcomed on the eBay platform. And then I will just take one more minute um, to ask my last question, and that's really going to help me to fill the next 30 minutes with content that is relevant to you guys. So I would like you to prioritize on the subject list here. What is your top priority today in terms of gaining insights into selling on eBay? I'm just gonna go through the list quickly. First one is the steps and requirements to get your global store on eBay. Second one is how do you know if you have the right product? The third one is how can you maximize the visibility for your products on eBay? Then we have how to receive. Ooh, they're switching up. So now I get in trouble. How to receive payments, how to handle logistics. Those are the priorities. Okay. I'm just going to give it a minute. We have 12 responses. Thank you very much for all those who are answering. Appreciate your engagement. Okay, I think we'll go for one or two more responses, and then I think we have our priority list for today. All right. Okay, we'll take the 16 answers that we have. All right, so I will take a moment to talk about the steps and requirements to get on eBay. Um, Maximum visibility on eBay, sure. So I think I will reprioritize this one. This had a bit less priority, but let me pull that one forward. We do want to focus on knowing if you have the right product, so I will prioritize that part as well. And then we'll see about communicating with international buyers. I think our guest speakers has very good points on that. And we might spend a bit less time today on payments and logistics, and perhaps we can follow up some other time. But thank you very much for your engagement and input. And with this, let's dive back into the agenda. I'm just gonna pause real quick and just see with the team at ITC if so far everything's good, if I'm missing anything on the chat, or if we're just good to continue going.
There are still people introducing themselves on the chat, there are a few questions, but I think someone asked if B2C business is profitable. Another person asked if Palestine is eligible to sell on eBay.
Mhm.
But I mean, it's up to you if you want to answer these now or leave them to the end of the session.
Okay. Yes, I think I'd prefer at this point to leave it to the end of the session, but we can keep collecting the questions.
Of course.
Um, oh, and I missed one thing. When you go back to your Slido, so if you go back to your Slido on your screen on the mobile phone, you'll see that there's the polls that we just did, and then on the left-hand side you'll find like a Q&A field, and there's already questions that came in. So feel free to use the Q&A section there, and you can type any questions, and we can go back at the end and just and then see the list of questions in order of priority. So that's gonna really help us have a relevant Q&A session at the end. Great. Okay, so um, we have our priority. I do need to spend like just a little bit of time on why eBay is a great opportunity. I'll keep it short, but it's important just to put everybody on the same page. So why is eBay a good opportunity to sell globally? So I'll just give you 2 points to start with. So based on my own experience, and I've trained 800 sellers in the past 5 years, and I've helped about 250 go to market. So I can say this is a proven opportunity for sellers in emerging markets looking to sell to global customers. Like it is working. It obviously depends on the level of effort that you put into it, but it's working from a technical perspective. It's working. The payments work. If you have sufficient logistics, it works. And just from a technical perspective, it's a platform that's accessible, right? It is more accessible than your competition. So of course, you all know about Amazon. You probably all know about Etsy. You've also probably heard about Shopify. All these platforms are great. I work daily with Amazon, Etsy, and Shopify, but those platforms are less accessible than eBay. So those are the key points I want to make, and perhaps just to dive further into my practical experience. So in the past years, as part of my engagement with International Trade Center, one of the project was building a hub on for Central Asian sellers, including places like Kyrgyzstan, places like Uzbekistan, places like Kazakhstan, and we have a couple of people on the call today from this region, and I just want to briefly show you based on a few sellers, kind of what we were able to achieve. So we were able to onboard more than 50 sellers into the program that generated sales with international customers. And just to give you some examples, we have Arslan. Hi, Arslan. Please, I'll ask you to mute yourself, but nice to see you on the call. Welcome. So,
Hello, hello.
hi. Yes, I'll start with this seller from Kyrgyzstan. Here, the highlight is that after we launched, within a launch window of about 18 months, we were able to go from zero, like having no online presence, to having more than 200 items sold to international customers. This is another one. This is called Bukhara Suzani. They What I want to highlight here is that following a number of sales to retail customers, business to consumer, they had an inquiry from a buyer in Japan that was more of a B2B transaction, because this person wanted to buy 20 items for about $2,500. So this was an interesting learning for us, that we could also tap into B2B. I have another one here, and the reason I want to highlight this seller is I did not expect this seller with a very expensive carpet, $10,000 and plus. I did not expect them to make any sales, but we did sell a rug for $10,500 to a buyer in Saudi Arabia. So that was also an important learning for me. It is possible to sell high value items if, of course, you have the right product that has demand. And finally, I want to briefly highlight Uzbekware, and I know Abdulvali, you are on this call, and the highlight here is Abdulvali was one of our participants from Uzbekistan that had the most sales overall. So we have more than 1,000 items sold overall, and these were sales to multiple countries. So all this, if I go back to my presentation, all this is simply to tell you, in my experience, this is a proven opportunity for sellers in emerging markets, right? That's the point. Now, because I have to, I'll just give you a couple of data points so you can be clear on the landscape. And yeah, so you can be clear on the landscape. So Amazon, in terms of online marketplaces for business to consumer, Amazon is the clear number one. There is no denying it. It's at this point, it's 7 times bigger than eBay. It's huge. However, eBay is still a leading global platform. Depending on the rankings you look at, it's number 2 or number 3 worldwide in terms of how many users it attracts. And here are just some stats. So you can see Amazon clearly the number 1 in terms of how many visits it attracts, and eBay comes in number 2, and then there's all these other marketplaces that exist. Yeah. So I think I think those are the main statistics, and there is one more point that I would like to make, um, and that's for all of you out there that have been selling on Etsy. So perhaps let me just pause real quick, and I'll ask you if you could tell us on the chat, like if you have an Etsy store, please could you just say in the store in the chat, you can just write Etsy, so I can understand if we have some people here that have Etsy stores. So I'll give you just a quick minute to find the chat. So if you have an Etsy store, please briefly let me know. You can also put the thumbs up on the interface on the Zoom interface.
Are you making a competitor's assessment?
Yes, I am. Okay. Let's see. Okay. So I don't see anything coming through yet, but I know that some of you, I do know that some of you have Etsy accounts, and so um, so there is a potential issue with with Etsy, and that's the following that I want that I need to share with you, um, because this is an issue that's come up recently. So essentially, as of August, right? As of August, it looks like Etsy will be closing stores that cannot accept Etsy payments. And the brief context is that in the past, when you wanted to sell on Etsy, you could do that either through Etsy payments or through PayPal. And PayPal, as you know, is available very broadly in about 190 countries or so. As of August, it looks from all the evidence that I can find, it looks like Etsy will be discontinuing the relationship with PayPal, and that means they will drop sellers that are currently getting payments through PayPal. So if you are currently using Etsy in combination with PayPal and you are not in one of the 60 countries that are supported by Etsy payments, you're at risk at losing your Etsy account. And I have been in touch with a number of you guys about finding solutions to this. So the point here is I just want to highlight two things. If you are one of the people affected by potentially losing your account with Etsy, number one, take the learnings from today and use the materials that I will share afterwards, and you can really see eBay as an alternative. That's the first point. And secondly, if you are really keen on keeping your Etsy account, I'll give you an opportunity to reach out to me after the webinar. And I have been discussing some possibilities to help sellers get their Etsy account back. Moving back to the presentation. So in short, the reason why eBay is a good opportunity is that it's working and it's quite accessible, more accessible than Amazon, Etsy, or Shopify. Perfect. With this, we can move into the next topic, which is the basics of setting up your eBay account. So this was the most requested piece of this webinar, and I now want to move to this section. I just want to ask briefly, Jennifer, if are there any kind of urgent questions on Etsy right now, or are we okay to continue to
No,
steps?
nothing on Etsy specifically.
Very nice. Okay, so I have created an eBay onboarding guide. This is quite a while ago, and this is exactly tailored to the kind of profiles of sellers like you guys. And so let me briefly tell you about the steps you can take if you want to start selling on eBay. So first of all, very important, there are certain hard requirements that you need to meet. Otherwise, you cannot open an account on eBay. So what do you need? So either a registered business, or a sole proprietor. So you can be a sole proprietor and you can open a seller account on eBay. Registered business or sole proprietor. Second, you need to own a bank account. You have to have a bank account that's either on the name of the business that you want to register, or the bank account can be on your own name if you have a sole proprietorship. So both options are possible. Um, eBay accepts bank accounts in over 190 countries. The way that the payments work is through a payment intermediary called Pioneer, which we can talk about more later. But Pioneer essentially is able to disperse any revenues you make on eBay to a bank account, to your bank account in 190 countries. The fee is 2% for Pioneer. We'll get into more details later. Next thing that you have to have if you want to sell on eBay is you need to have a credit card that can work internationally. And the reason you need to have a credit card is when you open a account on eBay, you are asked to link a credit card. And the reason is simple. eBay just wants to ensure that that um, that you will pay any fees due to eBay. So when you do a sale, there is a selling fee, um, and um, and it just gives you more credibility. So international credit card. The next one will be easy for you guys. You need a valid email address and you need a mobile phone number. Um, yeah, and then finally, you will be asked to provide documentation to prove your identity. And for that, you need an ID, either driver's license, national ID, or a passport. If you have those 5 things, you are good to go to create a account on eBay. Now, in terms of the cost for doing this, if you want to get set up on eBay, so you can actually do it for completely free. So the sign up procedure is free. Signing up to a Pioneer account for payments, that's also free. And up to 50 products you can list on eBay for completely free. So no insertion fees, no upfront fees, no fees for subscriptions. The only time you have to pay is when you start to generate sales. So whenever you have a sale, eBay will take a sales commission. And most of you will be familiar with the business model of online marketplaces, but maybe as a quick, a very short recap, the online marketplaces, the way that they work is that they will give you their traffic. There's a lot of buyers going to online marketplaces every day, and that's what they give you. They give you access to a huge buyer base, and in return, they take a commission. It's like paying rent in your shop when you are when you are opening a shop in a mall. You're paying rent for that. I would see this in a similar way. Um, yeah, if you operate your own e-commerce shop, then you will not have this commission, but usually you have a lot of fees and a lot of expenses for acquiring customers. So that's what justifies the fee. And the fee is, of course, paid by the buyer, because anytime that you will calculate your prices, you will add this commission to the cost. So that's a 10% commission for eBay, plus 3% for the payment gateway, plus 2% for Payoneer. So all in all, it's necessary for you to calculate about 16%. That's the reality. So it's not cheap, but this is the reality of selling on online marketplaces. Okay, so if you want to have more than 50 products, then you need to get an eBay store subscription, which basically is $5 per month. And if you pay the $5 per month, you can have up to 350 products on the store. Cool. Perhaps let me briefly check if we have Jennifer, any questions related to the fees or anything on the chats?
Uh, okay, there's a statement that says that Pioneer these days they only accept B2B payments. Uh,
Um, Great question. Great question. So that's true if you are just signing up to Pioneer. But if you are using a marketplace, I'll just show you real quick. So right, so there's two sides. Right, there's the acquisition side and there's the disbursement side. So actually, Pioneer and eBay they are partnering. So as a seller on eBay, you are allowed to use Pioneer to get the money channeled back to yourself. So yes, correct. If you just create a Pioneer account as a standalone kind of as a standalone payments solution, then you will only be able to receive payments from business clients. However, if you use it in the context of eBay, you will be able to receive payments from business to consumer clients. I hope that answers the question. Yeah.
Actually, there are a lot of questions, but I think we can answer the ones that are not related to uh, payment. So
Mhm.
someone mentioned that they have 5,000 products. So I guess you mentioned that this is a paid already. Anything above 50 would have to be paid by a monthly subscription.
Mhm.
And there's a question that talks about, does eBay have similar features like Amazon FBA?
Yeah, great question. There are third-party fulfillment solutions available for eBay. So eBay does not own any warehouses, but eBay integrates with the major warehouses. So you may have heard of ShipBob, you may have heard of ShipMonk, you may have heard of Flexport. All these are third-party logistics providers that operate mainly in the United States and also in Europe, and they basically integrate with eBay. So if you have an account on eBay, you can go to any of those third-party logistics providers, you can set up an account and you can link it to your eBay account, and then you can follow the same process that you would follow on fulfillment by Amazon, meaning you can then ship your products into the warehouse, and when you get the order, um, the eBay system will tell the warehouse that there is an order, and the warehouse will ship out the order. And the fees are very, very similar across the board. So the reality is that fulfillment by Amazon is the industry leader and is the most prominent player, but there are a lot, like dozens of players in the third-party logistics space that are trying to compete. So they really offer very compelling rates, and they are actually available at the entry. The barrier to entry is super low. Like you don't have to verify with them. You can just kind of sign up and then send your inventory in, right? And there's no limits, like in terms of minimum quantities. You can just, if you just have one product, it's fine. You can send one product. They'll fulfill it for you.
Fabien, we have a bunch of additional questions, a lot actually, but there's one that has been coming back again and again. I think
Yeah.
basically many people are asking if eBay is eligible in their own country. So I'm assuming there is a link somewhere on eBay that lists all of the countries, so we can share the link on the chat and people can check their individual countries.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
All right. And I promise everyone on the chat that we'll get back to these questions towards the end, but let's stay on the topic of actually like the onboarding on eBay and what is requirement.
Okay. Since it's a super easy question, let me answer it in like 10 seconds now. So the only questions that are excluded on eBay, the only countries are Cuba, Crimea, so
Mm-hmm.
Donetsk, so that's the Ukrainian war zones, Democratic People's Republic of Korea, so North Korea, Iran, and Syria. Those are the five co-
That's it.
the five countries. That's it. All other countries, you're fine. You're good. You can do it, right?
Wow, impressive.
Yes, so that's the answer, and very important. Like I have worked in some countries that people may consider as remote. I have, I just traveled to Turkmenistan last last April, and Turkmenistan is fairly closed, right? And it's landlocked. But we are selling from Turkmenistan, and as a matter of fact, we have some people from Turkmenistan on this call right now. Hello, Arslan. So yeah, it's very open. So that's what I mean, right? When I said at the beginning, eBay is accessible, this is what I mean. It is the most accessible platform globally. There's yeah,
All right,
yeah.
let's continue with the presentation and we'll get back to the answers at the
Perfect.
end.
Yeah,
Questions,
fantastic.
sorry.
Okay, great. Then, I, we are still on the topic now about, the basics of setting up your eBay store. And I don't need to go too much into detail because this material I will share with you so you can actually go through the steps. But I want you to know I have this guide that shows you how do you create your eBay for business account, how do you create the Pioneer account. So step by step, you can see how to do the registration, what you have to consider, right, when you do the sign up, and you will be able to follow this process. And it takes perhaps 30 minutes, right, to create this account. That includes the creation of the eBay account and also Pioneer, right, which basically I'm showing here in the guide. Let me see if there's anything you should. Yeah, maybe I'll just mention like two key things when you do the sign up. One is you have to be extremely careful about spelling of your business name and spelling of any addresses. Like it always has to be exactly the same as it is on your official documentation. You have to be super picky, otherwise you will not be accepted, and then you have to go talk to the customer service team. And like, let me be very clear with you guys, the customer service team of Pioneer and also eBay, they are very bad, right? I can say this because I'm not affiliated in any way with those. So while I think they are great platforms, right? And they are very open, and I think, it's a great opportunity for you. You have to know that like they don't prioritize they don't prioritize any countries that are not the main countries, like United States and Europe. If you're not in United States or Europe, you will not get good customer service. So you have to wait a long time until you hear back. So that you should know, but it's also all written in the guide. Perfect. So that brings us back to the presentation, and the second topic that you guys requested in terms of priorities, if I go back here, is how to get maximum visibility on eBay. So let me spend now 5 minutes on that topic. So I'll jump back into the presentation and let's find the section about maximizing visibility on eBay. 1 second. So this is okay. So I'll keep it short and to the point. Okay. So if you want to be visible, on eBay, just three things that I want you to be aware of. Number one, so your price, right? Like it's important to look at your competition, and I hope we have the time afterwards to quickly do that because you also requested that. So you need to be aware of your competition. You need to be aware of the price that they charge and the shipping service that they charge. Those are the two most important things. Like anything else is really secondary. Like your price and your shipping method, they have to be on par with the competition. In general, it means you cannot be much more expensive than your competitors on eBay, and also your shipping cost and shipping time should be in line with the competition. If they offer 2 week shipping, you should also offer 2 week shipping. If they offer a month shipping, you can offer a month. I would not recommend it, but you can. But most of the time, you will see that like 1 week shipping, that's sort of the standard. Like 1 week, that's normally the standard. So competitive price and delivery time, that's a must. If you don't have that, you will never get visible. Never. Second point, it's all about being found by the customer. So um, it's, you can have like the best price and you can have like great logistics service, but if you don't show the right keywords, if you don't do a good job at explaining what your product is, you will not get any visibility. So it's very important to use the right keywords, uh, right? And on eBay, what this means is you will have fairly long titles. And again, right, we don't have time in this session to go into details, but in my onboarding guide, right, I talk about this in detail when we talk about creating a title for a product, and I explain exactly like how you have to go about creating your title. The short of it is you have 80 characters available. You should use all those characters, and you should explain your product in detail, meaning what is the material, what is the color, what is the size, and then you can check what your competitors are doing in terms of keywords, and you can sort of copy what they do because usually you will find someone who's figured it out already. Number three, and that's like so important, and I want to talk to Vashu about this in a second. Never disappoint your buyers. Um, like yeah, I mean this is so important. Like again, like you can have the best price, best logistics, you can have the best keywords, but if you ship your item late or you forget to ship your item or somebody orders and your item is not in stock and then you have to tell them sorry I don't have it, like that's a huge problem, for two reasons. Number one, that buyer will never come back to you, because your competition is right one click away, so they will not come back to you. And secondly, the eBay search algorithm is like um, extremely mindful of the performance of the sellers, right? So eBay tracks meticulously how you are doing as a seller. Are you shipping on time? Are you adding the tracking number? Um, have you had any issues where the buyers were not happy with the quality? Have you had issues where you have sent the wrong item? All these things, they are being tracked, like every sale is being tracked. And it's enough. Like if you have one or two mistakes, you're okay. But if you have three or four mistakes, like that's already it. Like you might already have lost your privilege to sell on a platform. And that's true for eBay, it's true for Amazon, it's true for Etsy. Um, it's that's like so important, right? So these are the three things I will mention. And perhaps perhaps afterwards I will share just an example of a seller that's doing a phenomenal job. We will do this using the example of Vashu, who I want to interview in a little bit. So that's it on getting visibility. I just want to see if there's maybe one or two like urgent questions on the topic, anything that is not clear or I missed.
No, not for the moment.
Okay, cool. So that means we can go into the question of um, um, question number, well, priority number three, right? So priority number three, we will talk about, yeah, how do you know if you have the right product? Um, and so I will do a quick demonstration for you guys for perhaps 5 minutes. And then I will also bring in Vashu to talk a little bit about about the do's and don'ts on eBay. Great. So when you so right, so it is hugely important. Like okay, let's put it in, if you frame it in a negative way, then you could say that you cannot just, you cannot just assume that if you have anything to sell, you can put it on the platform and people will just buy it. Um, it's the other way around. Like you need to be sure that there is demand for your product. If you don't see any demand for your product, the likelihood is really high that you will not be able to make any sales on the platform. So demand analysis is very, very important. And I have this little checklist that I'm also sharing with you. Yeah, I don't think it's clearly visible, but I have a little checklist that basically allows you to do a quick assessment of whether your product is in demand or not. And let me just do a quick demonstration now on how you can go about this, um, so you can see in real life how I would do that. I want to let's maybe try and see if people are still engaged. Perhaps if you like, you can give me any product in the chat. If you like, please put like the details of any product in the chat, and I want to take that product and and see. So thank you. So we have a laptop bag, we have a cold pressed sesame oil, dehydrated pineapple, hibiscus tea, okay, coconut flakes, roasted coffee beans. Okay, let's do the roasted coffee beans, perhaps, as the example. And yeah, and you guys, hand knotted rocks. I love it. We could also do that. We could do any, but we'll do the roasted coffee beans. Coffee beans. All right. So once you've created your seller account on eBay, so the great thing about having a seller account on eBay is you have like free access to eBay's research tool. And so eBay's research tool is really, I mean, this is really important. Like, this is an amazing tool. Basically, anything that's been bought or sold on the eBay platform in any country, it is available for you to see. Like, you can know everything that's been sold. You can know what price it was sold at. You can know who sold it. You can know where it was sold from. Like, um, the wealth of information um, is great, right? And it's just the yeah, it's a real market analysis tool. It's not like Google Trends, like, oh, how many keywords, oh, it's real sales data. Like, it's really real sales data. And when you have a eBay account, you can use this tool for free, right? There are no like limitations. You can do as many searches you want. You can really dig into it if you want to. So how would you dig into it if you wanted to know whether a roasted coffee is an opportunity for you? So what you would do is, once you have created your eBay account, you will have access to the seller interface. This is called Seller Hub, and I want to thank Vashu for letting me use her store as an example, so we can do some demonstrations. So um, so you will have access to this tool called Seller Hub, where you can manage your sales, and within this tool that allows you to manage your sales, there is this tab called Research, Product Research. And what you want to do there is, so you want to go and find roasted coffee beans, right? So let's just type roasted coffee beans, right? Just as simple as that. And then we might want to find like the category that we might want to find the right category. So it's going to be food, beverage, non-alcoholic drinks, coffee, coffee beans. I think that would be the right category. So that's what I'm gonna select. It's not ground coffee, it's not other coffee, it's not coffee pods. So it is this category. So that's the right category. So eBay is going to tell me in the last 3 years. So I can look at 3 years, 2 years, last year, 6 months, 7 days, and so on. Like, but let's look at it for the last 3 years, and eBay will tell me like what is going on in the business of roasted coffee beans. Okay, so let me tell you what's going on. So in the past 3 years, There were 5,000 sellers in this category. Um, the average selling price was $40 for this product. The average selling price in the past 3 years has slightly gone up, so that's a good sign. I think that's good if you're in the coffee beans business. Um, the total number of products sold, so that's very important, right? So you can see this bar shows you every week how many products for this are sold. So you can see every week it's about 1,000 with the trend going slightly up. So you know it's 1,000 products and you know it's about $40, right? Average selling price. So you know it's $40,000 a week in sales. So you know it's roughly $200,000 in sales per month. So we kind of have an idea of what the opportunity is. So now, now on my demand list, I can sort of check and say, okay, there is clear demand for roasted coffee beans on eBay. Now the second question is, will I be able to compete in that market? And for this, let's go look at the competitors. And so what's like really powerful about this tool is it will actually tell you for coffee beans in the coffee beans category, who is the buyer that sold the most products, right? And I can actually filter by product sales, right? So let me filter by product sales. So this single listing here, so we have one single listing here. This is a single origin roasted coffee from Colombia, I think. Yeah, Colombian. Um, and this product has generated $130,000 over the past 3 years. And we can actually go and look at this listing and we can just go and check exactly what the conditions are. And if we go back to the question, about about how to get visibility on eBay, I told you the price has to be competitive and shipping has to be competitive, right? And essentially, this tool will tell you who the best sellers are in any given category, and they will tell and whatever the best sellers do, that's sort of what we should aspire to. So let's say I want whole bean coffee, I want 2 pounds, and I want kind of medium roast. So I can get it for $24.60, right? And that's going to be shipped within, and that's going to be shipped in roughly 1 week. So this is kind of, if you are able to do that, you will sell a lot, right? This product has sold 6,000 times. This is obviously like the best in class. Right? The tool will also show you sellers that are not able to sell, to ship in 1 week. Perhaps they ship in 2 weeks and so on. But essentially, now we know what is the demand, and we also know what is the competitive price. And finally, we need to check like what is the competitor doing in terms of how they kind of describe the product, what kind of images they use. We can basically just copy best practices from those sellers. Cool. I will stop here. I realize like we're we're the time is running, but we have covered like the main aspects. I'm just handing over to you, Jennifer. I think we probably have to be strict on time. You let me know. I'm available to stay a little bit, but handing over to you.
Not really. If everyone is staying, I think we can keep the session going as long as we make sure to two things: answer questions, and of course, listen from sellers or your seller that actually can possibly be more relatable to
Yeah.
businesses. So yeah. So if everybody is okay, we would love to have like an extra 15 or 20 minutes, up to you, Fabio.
Okay, perfect. And I think we can say, those of you who have to leave, as we said, like this is being recorded, so you can come back later. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I'm more than happy to stay on. I see we still have 62 people on the line, so let's not disappoint you. We should never disappoint the customers, right?
Yeah, well, I don't know if that case they are called customers, but sure.
I view them as a customer. Uh, yeah. Okay. Yes. So you're absolutely right, Jennifer. Like the next priority topic on the list is indeed like the interview with Vashu. Just going back to confirm that that's the case. Yeah. So it was, it was. Yeah, I didn't have that on the agenda, but yes, this is super important, as you say, Jennifer. So
Wow.
let's move forward with that, and let me just find the slides, right? So so what we'll do here is we want to talk about the do's and don'ts about selling internationally on eBay, and I want to take a minute to reintroduce Vashu. So Vashu, are you with us? Vashu, can you hear and see me? Okay.
Yes, Fabian, I can hear you and see you. Can you hear me?
We can hear you. I think the sound is somewhat choppy, but Jennifer, do you think it's gonna be fine?
I can't hear her well. Can you just speak a little louder to see if that will improve?
Testing, testing. Can you hear me?
Mm, I'm not sure.
Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you, except I can hear what you're saying. Let's maybe give it a try and then we'll see.
Yeah, perhaps. Vashu, do you think you'd be
Okay.
able to move closer to the microphone, like when you
Yeah,
speak more near to the laptop?
Yes, okay, I can do that. How
Oh,
about now?
better.
better, much better. Awesome.
Okay,
Okay,
great.
so I will reintroduce
Okay,
Vashu quickly. So,
yeah.
Vashu, again, I'm really happy to have you on the session. Thank you for joining. Vashu and I have been working together for a couple of years, actually. I'm an investor in her business. And Vashu, I would like to start with the first question to you, and that is, can you just tell us a little bit about your business and so far your journey on eBay?
Okay. Um, is this better now? Can you hear me better?
Yes.
Much better.
Okay, great. Okay. So my name is Washo Kihara, and I have a fashion label called Kangadelic. We've been selling on eBay since 2020 with Fabian's help. And initially, we started with the face masks during COVID, and we've gradually grown to selling beaded products. So beaded Kenyan bracelets, sandals, belts, dog collars, Kenyan tea, coffee, and other superfoods.
Thank you, Vashu. Did you want to add anything on the
Hello,
journey?
can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yeah. So it's been a bit of a growth curve. We were initially shipping from Kenya, but we have someone of ours who's based in New York. So she handles shipping and logistics. And when we ship like consolidated shipments to her, then she's able to sell them and shipping. For the higher value products, we are able to ship directly to the buyer via DHL Express, which is gets to them in under a week. And we've gotten like positive feedback on that. They've been really happy when they get their products early or in time. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Vashu. And I thought because you are so close to it, perhaps we can talk about like the key do's and don'ts, um, and share them
Yeah,
with the people
yeah.
on this call. And I just wanted to start with the first one, and that is the point that I raised before, which is never disappoint your buyers. And I just wanted to ask you, could you Could you give us an example of that and just emphasize like the importance of not disappointing the buyers?
Yes, it's important not to disappoint your buyers. Ship on time, upload the tracking information so that they're able to track their order, their product up, and they follow up. And yeah, so basically that's what we do, and we communicate with the buyers, and they're very happy when we get in touch and tell them that your product is on its way, and sometimes they will give us positive feedback. They in good, yeah, that really helps with the seller metrics and the the buyers being happy with our service.
Thank you, Vashu. I just recap quickly. So it's important to include the tracking when we ship, so the buyer is always aware. And then the second thing you mentioned, Vashu, because the line was a little bit choppy. The second was that shipping cannot be late. Um, and I want to ask you briefly. So what are the consequences? Like if we have an instance of a late shipment, or if we forget to upload the tracking number, what is the potential consequence for you?
It affected us last year in September. Some cases, the item wasn't delivered on time, and we got a CBIT block, and we were unable to sell for some time. So all our products were removed from on eBay. We lost, so we're really cautious now that we try and ship on time, and yeah, just to make the buyer happy, and we're working towards a top-rated seller status. So we're keeping a close eye on all that.
Thanks, Vashu. Let me perhaps try, Jennifer as well, try to repeat because it was a little choppy.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. So you mentioned a couple of words that people might not be fully familiar with. So you said when we were not shipping on time, last year we were impacted by the CBT block. So essentially, that's a cross-border trade block. So what happened is the eBay team, they assessed our performance and they saw that the percentage of late shipments was fairly high compared to our peers. So I forget the exact percentage, but it might have been 5% or something along those lines. And basically, eBay then said, okay, you shipped 5% late, so now you cannot sell on the platform anymore. And they removed like all the products. They basically removed all the products, and only thanks to my contacts in the eBay customer service team in Salt Lake City. Only thanks to that we were able to get the account reinstated, and ever since, like, we have been super careful not to ship late. So that was one of the things you said, and then the second thing you said, Vashu, that I think is important for people to know. You mentioned we want to get TRS status. So what does TRS status mean? It means top rated seller. So when you sell on eBay or any platform, actually, they have like tiers. And if you do a really good job as a seller over an extended period of time, you will get this like top seller badge, and it has a lot of consequences, positive consequences. On the one hand, you will get more visibility, just like that. You will convert better because people trust you more when you have this top rated badge. So you just, and the fees will be lower, right? Your selling fees get lower. So that's what we are doing right now. That's what we're trying to get to. I have one more question, one or two more questions for Vashu. Jennifer, are we okay to do maybe one or two more questions for Vashu?
Yes, let's go for it.
Let's go for it. Okay. Vashu, can you tell us a little bit about using AI tools to optimize your listings?
Yes, we've been since last year we've been using AI So now we'll use prompt optimization to generate.
I think you're dropping, right? It's too choppy. I think it's too choppy.
So it's been
Yeah.
really helpful using AI. Yeah.
Okay, you're back now, Vashu. So you said it's been
Okay.
really helpful to use AI
I
tools
type
for.
it for product descriptions
Okay, sure.
on eBay. So yeah.
Yeah. So apologies, everyone.
Sorry,
Like
go
this
ahead,
is, this
Fabian.
is real life, and we're connecting real life to Naivasha in Kenya. Kilifi actually, Kilifi, and sometimes there's rainy season. It's rainy season now, so that's the reason we don't have the greatest connection. I will try to summarize again the use of AI tools, right? So AI tools have been amazing for us to generate text and also to help us generate pictures. And while we work on Q&A, I will do a real life demo real quick to show you how we've been using ChatGPT's image generation feature. So I want to, I'll show you briefly one of Vashu's products. So one of the products that that is on the store are these beautiful handmade leather sandals that are perfect for the season. And you all know ChatGPT. You may not know about ChatGPT's image generation feature that is free. It's not unlimited, but it's free to generate a couple of pictures. And what I'll do, just real quick, I'll add this prompt that Vashu was kind enough to share with me. So this is the prompt. So first of all, I'm going to add the image, if I can. 1 second. I need to get a screenshot of the image. So you can see we're all about live demonstrations here. So let me get this image here. Okay. And then let's add it to ChatGPT. I just copy pasted it into ChatGPT. And now what I'm saying is, please put these sandals on a model and create a lifestyle shot. Show the model on a beach with a matching outfit, and then ensure that the model's feet look normal with 5 toes on each foot. The reason we do that is, as you might know, some of the AI tools, they sometimes don't get the details right. And so this is going to take 5 minutes to generate, but we'll come back to this later. And I think we can then now dive into Q&A. So I'll stop here. Jennifer, I want to, well, sorry. I also want to, let's perhaps thank Vashu, of course. um, yeah, Vashu, thank you so much for joining us. It's been very helpful, and I look forward to continuing our cooperation going forward.
Thank you very much. Sorry about the connection, everybody.
No worries. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Vashu. But that goes to say also that even if you have bad connection, you can still operate a good online store from anywhere in the world. Because I understand that the connection is sometimes a barrier, but as you can see, it's not the case, right?
Nope,
Yeah.
because we don't need a fast connection, right? Response
Yeah.
time, it's okay to have a 24-hour response time. So no worries. Yeah.
Yeah, it just you have to be a little bit more patient.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. While we give everybody a few seconds, including you, Fabian, to breathe, take a couple of minutes, we will be running our usual poll. So, guys, guys and girls, and everybody, you will see a small pop-up on your screens with a survey for 6 questions that will help us really understand better, not about the quality of the webinar, this we know, but about the information and how relevant it was to for you to be able to integrate in your business and to improve your trade or online e-commerce. And in the meantime, I think we can start with the questions. So there was one question to Vashu if she faced delay in shipment due to fulfillment center, or did she use her own shipment shipment solution, I guess. I'm not
Yes.
sure if you have the
Vasho,
answer.
yeah, I do have the answer. Yeah, perhaps. Yeah, let me do the answer because we don't know about the connection. Yeah, so the issue was, so normally we have been using DHL for the higher priced items. We have been using the partner in New York for the small items, right, to ship via USPS. So that was also a very important lesson. If you have
Mm-hmm.
friends if you have, friends that you trust, like ask them if they want to help because, what we do with Vashu is we generate the shipping label from eBay. We generate the USPS, right, the United States shipping label, and we just email it to her friend in New York. So she can just print it and put it on the parcel. She never has to pay anything. She just puts it on the parcel and puts it in the mailbox. So it's not a hard task, and many people will be, willing to help. Is my experience. So if you have friends and trusted people, you can leverage that, right? Whether it's in Europe or in the US, that's always good because it allows you to then consolidate shipments. And instead of sending a bracelet one by one, you can send 100 bracelets, right? And then obviously that makes all the difference in shipping cost. So what happened with this shipping situation is that we were shipping like belts for maybe probably like $50 or $60 from Kenya to the US, and we had found a shipping provider that was doing the job like cheaper than DHL with a little more shipping time. So they did their own consolidation, and it turns out the shipping provider was not trustworthy and they shipped late. Like they just messed up. And because they messed up, we ended up like eBay caught it that it was shipped late because either the customer said that it was shipped late or the tracking information indicated that it was shipped late. And basically eBay counts like how many times you ship late, and if you cross a certain threshold, then you get in trouble basically. And so we got in trouble, and we now have to, now we it will take us more time to get this top rated seller status.
All right. So basically make a good choice from the beginning and try not to mess with eBay customers.
Yeah, and like just deliver like do like set like expectations that are realistic and deliver on those. Like if you are, we're not saying like you have to offer 3-day shipping or 4-day shipping. It's okay to offer, it's okay to offer 2 week shipping. It's not great if you offer 2 week shipping, but like that's the business model of Temu or Shein or all these Chinese cheap like they have 3 weeks, like 2 weeks to 1 month shipping time, and it's okay because the customers know it's going to take a month, right? So if you set those expectations, then that's what you're measured against, right? So that's the suggestion, that like don't overpromise.
All right. So I have another questions from earlier in the session. Someone is asking if we want to resell products, so possibly products, if I understood well, that were pre-owned. Should we have the business registered?
Like I would come back to the point at the beginning, like so you have to register. You can do it as an individual, like sole proprietorship, or as a business, and it
Mm-hmm.
doesn't matter what you sell. Like doesn't matter. Like you can be a sole proprietor and sell like $1,000 items, or like yeah, it's okay. Like
Okay. There are two questions that are a little bit more like in depth. One of them is how is eBay different from Amazon, and the other one is which is better, WooCommerce or Etsy?
okay, yeah, okay. Amazon versus eBay, right? Okay. Okay. You know what? I recently did a presentation to compare that. Um, yes, I was actually presenting. Let me see if I can. Okay. If you give me 1 second, I can probably bring it up, and I'll just use that slide to talk you through it. I think it's going to be the most effective use of time. Sharing my screen now and sharing the presentation. Here. Okay. Yeah, so this is a presentation I made for eBay because they want to expand in Turkey and yeah. So okay, so here we have eBay versus Amazon. Okay, so let's just go through this list real quick. So first of all, so Amazon is way bigger. It's like the marketplace, and like nobody can ignore Amazon. And I think Amazon is great. And I know you guys have a webinar later with Amazon, and I think you should consider Amazon. But only if you're advanced. Like you should have you need to have like barcodes on your products. You need to have like perfect like your operations need to be up to standards, and you have to have a business registration and willingness to invest. Like it's going to be much more expensive on Amazon. You're going to have to pay like $40 per month to even have a chance of selling, and then there's the FBA cost and so on. So if you're starting out, like don't do Amazon. Like Vashu and I, we're speaking about Amazon for like for probably 2 years, and we still are not selling on Amazon because there's just too many hurdles on it. Like whether it's getting verified, whether it's the payments, whether it's the Amazon's rules, it's just more complicated in general. And then there's another point, and that is like if you are super successful on Amazon, Amazon is also a seller, and they will know that you are successful, and they there are a lot of cases where Amazon has copied products of a successful seller, and then they start selling it themselves. So they compete with you. So like it's like the most frightening thing because this is the biggest e-commerce player, and they might compete with you if you're successful. So that's one big differentiator. And then eBay, if you compare it with eBay, so eBay is smaller than Amazon. It's more global, so you have less people in the US, more people in Europe and other places in the world. You have 134 million global buyers. That's pretty solid. It's not as big as Amazon, but it's pretty solid. And then eBay doesn't compete, right? And yeah, briefly in terms of fees, eBay, we're looking at 13%. Amazon, you're looking at 15% plus. In many categories, it's 20% plus the fees for Amazon fulfillment. So Amazon is more expensive. It's bigger, but more expensive. Also, there's no monthly fee on eBay if you have less than 50 items. On Amazon, if you want to have visibility, like, and I can testify this from my own experience, you can have like a free individual plan on Amazon, but you will not get any sales. If you want any sales, any chance of selling on Amazon, you have to pay $40 a month. That's $500 a year. That's what you're gonna have to pay. And then in terms of, and then like the support on Amazon is even worse than on eBay and Pioneer. Like, don't even try. Like it's just like I mean, I'm not saying eBay or Etsy care about you, but like Amazon really, and I'm sorry I have to say this, but like my experience just shows like they just don't care. And if we've tried calling the customer support from Kenya, and they just hang up on us. Like they just don't care, right? So it's just very it's just more difficult. Yeah. So that's a bit of an analysis of eBay versus Amazon.
All right. Great. I guess we can have like a short answer to the difference between WooCommerce or Etsy. I think this is
Yeah.
not an equal footing
No.
comparison.
No, yeah, yeah. WooCommerce is an e-commerce platform, and then Etsy is an e-commerce marketplace. And yeah, in short, like a marketplace already has an existing set of buyers, and it's much easier and lower hurdle to get on Etsy if you are in one of the 60 countries that supports Etsy payments. Otherwise, like forget about it. Right? Like it's and then WooCommerce is an e-commerce platform where you create your own e-commerce store. And frankly, Also, don't do it if you're a beginner. Like this is not for beginners, right? Don't do WooCommerce if you're a beginner. You can do it if you have somebody who's tech savvy and helping you to create the shop, but you will need to, you will need to create everything, right? Yeah, landing page and product pages and your story and a blog and everything. It's yeah, it takes time. So don't do it if you're a beginner. And you have to invest a lot in marketing as well, right? Like nobody will come
Yeah.
to your store, like nobody. You have to then pay for Google Ads.
Google Ads, SEO, marketing, social media ads,
Yes, you know
whatever
you
is
know
your
that very well,
favorite.
right? Yeah, you know that very well. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, but I mean, I think the best thing that summarizes this is that this is not for a beginner. You can easily test the market on a marketplace, and then once you have like enough
Yeah.
customers and sales, you can then move on to your own e-commerce. So Kevin is asking, is a regular eBay different from eBay Business Supply? So basically, he's looking for more solutions for B2B sales.
I don't know if I caught the the question correctly. Like, is eBay good for B2B? Is that the question?
Yeah, I mean, actually, I'm gonna read exactly what he wrote. Is a regular eBay different from eBay Business Supply, eBay B2B, eBay Bulk? I am mainly looking for B2B sales.
Yeah. Yeah, so there is no eBay B2B. Like I don't know
Okay.
what you mean, but the eBay is a originally a C2C, consumer to consumer, and then a B2C platform. Um, so there is some business and industrial. Let's be clear. There is some business and industrial on the platform, which is sort of technically B2B, and there the commission is much lower. So there, like you can sell like machinery and stuff like that. That's one thing to say. And then the second thing is like with Vashu, we're also doing bulk selling. So, instead of selling just one one kind of pack of tea, we have also sold like I think it was like 50 pieces of tea. And that could be considered a small B2B transaction, but you always have to be mindful on eBay, your commission, the sales commission, it's apart from car parts and accessories and then the business and industrial, your commission, the sales commission for eBay will be 10%. And as long as you pay 10% commission, like it kills all the B2B business. There is no B2B business at 10% commission. Um, Apart from business and industrial, there is like 2.5%. So I hope that answers the question.
Yes. Okay, so another question, can I ship directly from Indonesia to customers or I need to send to US warehouse? I think you kind of answered this, but feel free.
Yeah. So the answer is yes, you can. And then it depends on what products you have. Like in an ideal situation, I don't know in the Indonesian context in detail. What I do know is like for sure you will have access to DHL because they're everywhere, and you should be able to access DHL's e-commerce rates, which should be able to give you like rates between, I would say, if you're lucky, $20. If you're not so lucky, $35 per kilo, in that range. Like that's the range you could expect to get. With Vashu, our rate is about $30 for 1 kilo and then 35 for 2 kilos, 30 up to, yeah, 36, 37 for 2 kilos. So that works for certain products, like with high commercial density, right? But it doesn't work for smaller products. Ideally, you have a postal service in Indonesia that is somewhat reliable, and then you can ship, within 2 to 3 weeks. Then you can do like the Chinese model, where you have like cheap shipping, cheap prices, and a long shipping time, and this still works on eBay. So you can do that, right? But be like the prime way to get visibility, to get success, is if you get the opportunity to partner with somebody in your target market. And on eBay, like let's be clear, on eBay the target market will be either the US, or it could be UK or Germany. France, Italy, Spain, maybe, but like that's it, right? Like you want to be on eBay.com, you want to be on the US side, that's where all the traffic goes to. So, look for a partner in the United States, can be friends, family, and see if they would be willing to do some tests with you and fulfill a couple of orders for you, because then you can get a shipping label with US Postal Service for like $4, maybe $5. You can ship in 1 week for $4 to $5 for up to 2 kilos. It's that's the way to go basically. Yeah, if you really want to push the sales, but for testing, it's okay to ship cross border.
All right. Are you good to continue with the questions?
Yeah, I'm fine. I have clearance from and I think the kids are getting quieter, so yeah, it's fine.
Okay. We couldn't hear them anyway, so we're fine from our end.
Okay.
Okay, so Virginia is asking, does an international credit card, I think that is when you were talking about what you need to start a store. Does an international credit card mean a foreign currency denominated card? And also in Nigeria, what is more popular is a prepaid card and not a credit card.
Yeah, no, it doesn't have to be denominated in US dollars. It
Okay.
can be, what is important is that you must be able to do transactions in foreign markets. Some, especially debit cards, is my experience, have not been accepted. But so generally credit cards are not an issue. Like again, like I said, I worked with sellers in 15 different countries, and some of them are quite kind of difficult markets, and like that's never been an issue. We've always found like credit cards that don't work. Maybe you try your debit card. If it doesn't work, you try a credit card, and then if that doesn't work, like you can even. So that's kind of a secret between us, but the credit card doesn't even have to be on your name. It can be on someone else's name for the payment part, because eBay, they don't care who pays. They just want the money. So it doesn't have to be on your name.
All right. This is an insider information, and we appreciate it.
No worries.
I think this was bound to happen. Someone is asking, how do you deal with taxes of sending a product from another country to the buyer? Yeah, I mean, to
Yeah,
the customer,
sure.
I guess.
Yeah, it's an easy question actually. The answer is like what is the de minimis, and the de minimis, luckily in the United States, it is still $800. So if the value of the parcel you ship is less than $800, you don't have to worry about anything. Like there's no taxes. There's no like import taxes, and that's why a lot of my focus has been on eBay and the US market, because it's the second biggest market in the world, and it's very open. Not for Chinese sellers.
Mm.
They now have de minimis removed. So that's why like Temu and Shein and all that, those they don't have a business model anymore. But for you, you're fine. For Europe, it's a little bit more tricky. For Europe, the de minimis is 20 to 22 euros. And yeah, so if you ship with the postal service, and so that's again like a trick between us. Like it's possible to kind of try and declare like value zero or sample, and then you ship with postal service. And in most cases, according to my experience, you will actually not be taxed, right? Actually, it's the consumer that will have to pay the import taxes, right? So that's one thing. The other thing is when you use DHL or another courier, you can ship DDP, so delivery duty paid, and you can be paying for the duties. And I recommend that for like higher value purchases, that you just price that in if you can, right? If you can. But yeah, but essentially the key takeaway is like if you're just starting out, like focus on the US market, and then you don't have to worry about any import taxes. And maybe just one side point to this, there is like the sales taxes for those of you who know like the market is a bit better, and that is collected by eBay, so you don't have to worry. Like eBay collects that on your behalf. It's this in all the big markets like US, Germany, European Union, like it's being collected and then paid to the government, so you don't have to worry about like the VAT.
Okay. This is very useful. I think we will just have one more question. So concerning logistics costs, since the logistics companies fix their service charge by themselves, why should the seller be the one to bear brand for the high cost
Okay,
or the
wait,
cost of
can you
shipping,
say
I'm
again?
assuming. Concerning logistics costs, since the
Yeah.
logistics companies fix their service charges by themselves, why should the seller be the one to bear the brunt of the high cost?
Yeah, you're not bearing the high costs. Like it's always the buyer. Like you're never paying for shipping. Like, well, if you're paying for shipping, and like you're and kind of because of that, like it dilutes your margin or actually
Mm-hmm.
makes you sell at a loss, then you don't have a business. Like then like
Yeah.
don't sell. Like but if your product is good enough to command a price that can include the shipping, then we have a business, right? And so that's the magic of selling online. That's why I said at the beginning, it's not anybody can sell, and not it's not easy for anyone. Like with Vashu, we've worked like really hard to find those products that work, that have the demand and that can command the price, right? And just a quick example, we're selling belts right now for kind of we've sold belts for $59, and the reality is like we've paid like $30 of it go to DHL, right? Like that's the reality. But afterwards, we're left with do your math, but it's kind of $29, and with those
Mm.
$29 we pay eBay fees, we pay the supplier, and then we have then we take a margin, the profit margin. That's how it works. Yeah, it doesn't work with every product.
Carla. Yeah, I guess one of the things that we always recommend as part of all ITC programs is basically to try to, as much as possible, integrate the price of shipping within the product. Of course, it makes more sense if people are buying more than one product. So at least this way, it doesn't look like you're paying $20 shipping for a product that costs $10. But yeah, there are multiple opinions on that. You can offer, I don't know, free shipping to a price point higher than a certain amount you set. But then again, yeah, there are a little bit of it. Really depends what you're selling and how much is the shipping cost. Look, I have more questions, but I think we've taken an hour and a half of your time. I think we can consider that we might do a few other webinars in the future, but I think
Sure.
also we'll have a bunch of additional questions every time. So I appreciate you giving us an extra half an hour, and everybody
No.
for staying. So we have 45 people who stayed an extra half an hour. So as far as I remember, I've never seen this before. So I guess that was a super useful and interesting topic. Any last mentions you want to say before we close?
I would just want to say thank you. Sorry, James.
Fabian, you have a picture that you have to show us before you close.
Ah.
That picture that you're making with the
Oh, yes.
yeah. We
I'm
have to see. We
sorry.
have to see it.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I'm sorry. We were gonna miss the picture. Okay, so here's the picture that the ChatGPT generated. Okay. So
Wow.
yeah, that's a very good ending. So who of you, would figure out that this is AI generated? Like it looks really good, and like this is free. The model even has 5 toes, and yeah, I mean, this is great. Like Vasha and I, we're now updating all our images to have models in the shot. Like like AI is really really helpful when you want to generate images, and also if you want to create a description. You can just throw in all the details of the product and then just tell ChatGPT, please write my eBay product description, and it'll, it's super not like it's a game changer.
Yeah, I mean, this is quite impressive. I've heard of people trying to do that, but this is the best quality image I've seen so far. I think the prompt that you use is definitely better than anything anyone has tried in the examples I know. Let me close with a few words. We have an upcoming webinar on Amazon as well for those of you who ask questions this week. So I'm sharing the link for the registration in the chat. Please open it before we close the session so you can register at your own time or directly after we close today's session. And thank you, Elvira, for reminding me. I am sharing, yes, And of course, we will be sharing the recording and the links to the resources that Fabian talked about during the session, which is the onboarding manual that you've created for eBay. Thank you so much. Again, extremely grateful for the time and the energy and all of the insider information that no one has heard of. Everybody was going to forget about it, or at least do it and not mention you by name, Fabien, in case that happens in the future. Thank you, and I wish everyone a great week, and hopefully see you again.
Thank you very much, Jennifer, and everybody. Nice.
Have a great evening.
Have
Bye.
a great evening.
Thanks, Fabian.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you. It's been amazing.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, guys.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
Fabian.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Thanks a lot. See you again.
Bye. Bye from
Bye.
Ghana.
Bye.
Bye, guys. Thanks so much.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, Vashu. Bye.
By the way, where can I get those links that were about Amazon?
Yes, I will share it again to register, but open it before I close the session, because the chat will close when I do that. So please let me know when you do, so I can close it. All good? I'm gonna assume
I'm
that's it.
trying. 1 minute.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh my God, this ain't opening.
It's not?
No, it's not.
Are you on Ecom Connect?
Yeah, I am connected.
No, I mean on the platform Ecom Connect.
Yeah, I'm on the platform.
Okay, can you send me a private message or check the events on it? The link should be there. Or maybe let me send you the link to the event, and then you can access the Zoom link from the chat, from the event. So this is the event page.
1 minute. So I am supposed to register on this event before this meeting closed?
No, not to register before the meeting closes, but to open the link in your browser before the meeting closes, because after the chat will disappear.
Ah, got it, got it. I
Yeah.
took a screenshot of it as well, so
Okay,
I can
perfect.
have access.
Okay.
Got
All right,
it.
then
Oh,
see
thank
you
you so much.
Thursday.
Uh-huh. I have a one question. Do you have time? Just one question.
A question for me?
Yeah.
Sure, go ahead.
I actually I've been drop shipping from the Shopify store, and now want to get into eBay. And you remember that I said I asked the question that if I want to resell a product from another country or another marketplaces to the eBay, for
Oh,
example. Yes.
oh,
Mhm.
yeah, I understand. I understood if you want to sell resell a product, which I understood to be reselling, meaning that pre-owned, so that the product was used by someone else and then you're selling it again. But you mean drop shipping? I don't think, I am not an expert on eBay, but I don't think eBay works as a drop shipping platform.
Got it.
But if you already have your Shopify, then there is no reason to use eBay, even if does offer drop shipping.
Hmm.
Because based on
Uh-huh.
what Fabien said, if you're not able, because I understand also drop shipping has a higher time to delivery, right? So how much time are you do you need to deliver the product?
Yeah. No, actually, I just asked about it because eBay also offers some customers as well. Because, for example, when I have Shopify store, I pay for the Google ads or the Instagram, TikTok ads. So eBay would be just the extra like marketing for the new customers. That's why I asked it.
Yeah, no, but basically, if you don't have like good sales, based on what Fabien said, like good sales, good customer reviews, a lot of traffic to your site, then you will not be able to have a high ranking on eBay. So if you're using it to market your product, that also will not work unless you are selling through the platform.
Got it. Oh, thank you so much.
Of
By the
course.
way, today I've learned so much stuff that I can apply for my future projects. Thank you so much.
We're so happy to support. Then see you Thursday. Yeah,
Okay.
I think it's Thursday, 19th.
Yeah, I will register. Okay,
Yeah.
goodbye.
All right. Bye.
Have a
Bye,
nice day.
everybody.
Okay, bye.